Welcome to Leadership Speak, an advanced Toastmaster club for leadership and development. We are one of the top 5 clubs globally. I am Irish, your sergeant at arms of the meeting. Our club mission: we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater confidence and personal growth. Leadership Speak is a premier club for experienced Toastmasters to better self-directed to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer is virtual hand raised, so we all can immediately see who is speaking, who is keeping the time. Our Toastmaster today is someone, Brahm Memone. Brahm Memone, DTM, is a leadership coach, trainer, and speaker. With a passion for safety at thousands of
Thank you. I think Irish is having a little bit of a problem because he's working offshore on an oil rig and he's connecting from an oil rig. So that's a little bit of a challenge for Irish to introduce me. But most people do know me. I'm the founder of Leadership Speak. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another meeting of Leadership Speak. Today's theme, ladies and gentlemen, is nurturing growth, the mark of true leadership. And I will explain in a little while how we nurture and what we do to nurture leaders in Leadership Speak. The reason why we are called Leadership Speak is because we are all about leadership. How we speak, how we interact, how we connect with each other, it is through the lens of leadership. Everything that we do is focused on leadership. So nurturing growth, the mark of true leadership, is the theme for this meeting, and you will see how we exemplify leadership at all levels. Thank you. Mr. Sergeant at Arms or Mr. Zone Master, if you can unmute people who are not speaking, that'd be great. I can hear some background noise. Thank you. To me, leadership is not about strategy or decision making. It's not about, training people to do a role, right? If they're new and they're training them to do a role. Sure, this part of it is leadership, but that's not really the focus of Leadership Speak. Trying to put out fires when somebody doesn't come to the meeting or are unable to attend for some reason or the other because they're sick. That's what I mean. Most of our members are committed. So we're not fighting fires here, really. And most community clubs tend to sort of do that. Is they're trying to figure out the structure and how to become leaders. Here we already say we are leaders. So what do we do to nurture leaders here at Leadership Speak? Well, I will tell you in a minute. But before I do, we have some very important people in this audience. And who are these very important people? You. You are the most important person, the guest. If you are a guest and not a member, somebody will post a link to the guest book in the chat. And today, I believe it's going to be Irene. Irene, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm posting it in a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So Irene will be posting the link in the chat in a second. And I would like you all to sign into the guest book so that we know who you are, why you are here, what's your interest, and tell us a bit more about yourself, or if you need to know anything about Leadership Speak and why we are one of the top clubs globally. Actually, we are the top club globally at the end of June of 2024. The reason being we had a very good membership, great quality, 158 education awards. We were awarded the Club of the Year by the district as well. Now, the link is in the chat, dear guests. So please do sign in, and I would love to talk to some of you after the meeting. So please be here. Since there are so many guests at the moment, we won't be calling all the guests to sort of come and speak with me here right now. Now, coming back to the theme of the meeting. The theme of the meeting is what? Nurturing growth, the mark of true leadership. Now, how do we nurture growth and make sure that our leaders grow in leadership speak? Well, for example, in the education committee, guess how many people are in our education committee to begin with? This is a club of, I'm trying to think how many members we have. I think we have more than 60 members. Some of them are not active, of course. There's always attrition. So the attrition is going to happen, and we are going to take on some new more members. So there's under about 55 active members, actually. All of whom are being served. All of them get to speak. All of them get to be trained as leaders. And in the education committee, we have 15 people in the education committee itself, learning different aspects of the club and how to grow the club, how to train people, how to nurture people. And I myself take a great interest in developing the legacy of the club, the future leaders of the club that will lead the club into the future, so that the club exists into the future. And that is what I mean by nurturing growth, and how we truly walk the talk about leadership is legacy. That is the ultimate about any leader, not the day-to-day running and trying to put out fires or is the agenda done, whatever. That is just managerial type of leadership. Or the strategic leadership, how many members do we have, how many DCP points we have. That's the strategic type of leadership. But legacy is the ultimate, where you're really looking into the future and building leaders to fill those shoes. And that is the commitment that we have. And therefore, our club really thrives well. My phone is just ringing. Just give me a second. Let me just switch it off. So there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, also today, we will hear the education speaker speaking about how he nurtures a garden and grows something. I will let him do the speaking. Now, the reason why I mentioned the education speaker is because every Toastmaster of the day and the education speaker, they collaborate together to create the theme. And I only get I got only about 2 minutes to speak about the theme, but Phibian will come on later to really expound and talk more about the theme and from his experiences, what it really means to us. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just introduce to you some of my role players now and bring them on forward. And our very first role player today is going to be the toast by Antonio Hernandez. But before I do that, no, that is fine. I will get Antonio Hernandez to do, I'm looking at the agenda and trying to do this. So I will, of course, please do have Antonio Hernandez come here and do the toast. Now, Antonio, where are you from? Are you in Germany?
Yes, I am in Germany, in Berlin.
Berlin, okay.
Yes.
All right, so over to you, Antonio, for the toast.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Toastmasters of the Day, Brahm. Welcome, dear Toastmasters and guests. It's an honor to stand before you today and talk about something that I believe is at the core of true leadership, nurturing growth. Leadership isn't just about authority or decision-making. It's about nurturing an environment where growth can flourish. Let me share a story that illustrates this. A few years ago, I had the privilege to be under a leader who was a true leader. He did not only manage us well, but he also took the time to mentor each and every one of us. While I was facing some challenges with one project, I asked him for help. And instead of him giving me a quick solution, he asked me questions. He asked me, what do you think if you implemented this? What do you think that you would learn on the way? I realized that these questions, they were not designed to put pressure on me, but they were designed to make me think critically. And why to think critically? To make me think for a possible solution, and at the end, to create an environment where growth can happen. And this is the essence of leadership. True leaders, they don't just provide answers, they ask questions, they listen, and they create the environment where mistakes are viewed as stepping stones. And then I would like to ask you, how many of you have ever been afraid of making a mistake at work, in your personal life, or even during these meetings? Please raise your hands. Yes, I see those hands, and it's okay, it's natural. Dear Toastmasters and guests, I'd like to motivate you today to be that leader who nurtures growth, because together we can create an environment where growth is a continuous journey. So please unmute, switch your videos on, and raise your glasses to growth, leadership, and trust.
To
Growth, leadership, and trust.
Thank you very much. And back to you, Toastmasters of the day.
Thank you. I like that toast. Thank you very much, Antonia, all the way from Germany, Berlin. While for those of you who don't know where I'm in Canada, in a city next to Toronto, Mississauga. So we are a few thousand miles apart, yet in the same club. Now, we have some functionary roles. And the first functionary role is our timer, Nelly Ayodo. Hi, Nelly. You bring Nelly here. Hello, Nelly.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
And where are you speaking from this morning?
I'm speaking from Nairobi, Kenya.
Nairobi. Oh my goodness. You're going to be timing us as to how we do from Nairobi?
Yes, I will. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As the timer, I will be timing in accordance with the agenda. My background will change to green, yellow, red, and at the end of each segment, I'll post the results in the chat box. Back to you, DTM, Brahm.
Thank you, Nelly, all the way from Nairobi. I look forward to your timers report at the end of each segment. My next functionary is our beloved grammarian, Shanicia Bellamy, and she's all the way from Guyana. Shanicia, what city are you in Guyana?
Hello, Brahm. I'm in Georgetown, Guyana at the moment.
Georgetown, okay. And what's the temperature? It's like 2 degrees over here, centigrade, of course. What's your temperature over there?
It's a little warm.
Around 30?
I don't know the exact figure. We don't really check that much over here.
30, yeah. Over to you.
Maybe.
And what are you doing for today?
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, as the grammarian, my role is threefold. Firstly, I will be monitoring language and grammar usage throughout our meeting, and I will comment on both the positive and negative uses. Secondly, I will be monitoring the amount of crutches and pause fillers used, such as and so on. And lastly, my role requires me to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day for today's meeting is burgeon. You can repeat with me, burgeon. It means begin to grow or increase rapidly. to flourish. When used in a sentence, the trout population in the stream is burgeoning now that the water is clean. Some synonyms include expand, boom, multiply, skyrocket, etc. Some antonyms include shrink, decrease, diminish, among others. At the end of the meeting, I will give my report on the overall language usage as well as the usage of the word of the day. Over to you, Brahm.
I have only one thing to say. Leadership Speak is a burgeoning club. We are growing rapidly and a global phenomenon. We started, we charted. Our charter date is 17th of February, 2022. And we just celebrated a couple of weeks ago our 3rd anniversary. But within the very first year, we were one of the top 5 clubs globally. And today we are on target to becoming one of the top clubs again in terms of not only education awards, but membership, education, and the quality and service that we provide to our members, and the leadership development that we do here to develop future leaders, which is nurturing growth. Having said that, dear guests, now that you have settled down a little bit, and you are the most important people in this room, we are our VIPs. There is that link in the chat again, it's still there. Thank you, Irene, for posting the link. If you can go to that link and click the link and put in the guest book your name, where you're from, the club. I mean, it's a very simple, it'll take you less than 30 seconds to fill that in for us. We'll be very grateful, and I will get in touch with you if you indicate that you would like somebody to get in touch with you as well to explain to you more about the club. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, we will get on with our education speaker. Now remember, ladies and gentlemen, the word of the day is burgeon. Shanicia, I'm going to speak that word every time I come on, so you better start counting. So, Mr. Zoom Master, let's bring Phibian Joseph over, our leadership education speaker. Phibian, how are you? Sound test.
Hi, Brahm. I am great.
Awesome. Well, you're also from Guyana. What a coincidence. Shanicia and you are all both from Guyana. So good. Now, hold a second, Phibian. We'll call on your evaluator to come and tell us what he's going to be doing. So bring on Daniel Omondi Odero here. Hello. And Dan Odero is from Nairobi. Dan, what are you going to be doing today for Phibian?
Thank you, Brahm. Today I have the privilege of evaluating Phibian Joseph's speech. He's taking a path in dynamic leadership, where on the path he's prepared to speak professionally. Phibian will present a keynote style of speech, exemplifying a professional level speaker's point of view and a message in a style that supports the speech content. He's burgeoning his speaking prowess. He has 18 to 22 minutes to present his speech. Back to you, Brahm.
I heard you say burgeoning there, Dan. Wow. Now, Phibian and I collaborated for this particular meeting to come up with the theme. Actually, Phibian came up with the theme, and he is passionate about this particular subject that he's going to be talking about. And I've heard him speak, and we gave him some feedback, and he's here to present, and we'll all learn something from it. So do take copious notes. You will notice that every Leadership Speak meeting on a Saturday has an education speaker who will speak for 20 minutes. So every member here gets to practice 20-minute speeches. Every meeting has one of those speeches, sometimes even more. Ladies and gentlemen, Phibian Joseph, the bamboo mindset, Phibian Joseph.
How many of you have ever felt like you're working tirelessly, putting in hours of effort, but the results just didn't seem to come? You know you're doing everything right, but nothing. It's frustrating, isn't it? Now, let me take you back to 2008. Telsa, the company that's now known for revolutionizing the electric car industry, was on the brink of bankruptcy. Elon Musk had invested everything, his money, his time, his energy into his vision. But everything seemed to be falling apart. Failure was inevitable, or so it seemed. But Musk didn't give up. Instead, what he did, he doubled down. He did not walk away because Musk knew that Tesla wasn't failing. He knew that Tesla was simply in its bamboo phase. This story of Musk is a story many of us can relate. Have you ever been in a position where you're putting in all of that effort, showing up day by day, and yet see no progress? Maybe you're leading a team that isn't quite clicking, or you're building a business and it feels like it's just stuck. Or you're working on yourself. You are striving to be a better leader, a better partner, but the results just don't seem to show up when you expected them to. It's tough, isn't it? Because you start doubting yourself. You wonder, am I on the right path? Should I be doing something different? We have all been there. We have all asked those questions. And here's the thing. This is where the bamboo mindset comes in. When a bamboo seed is planted, what the farmer does, he waters it, he nurtures it, and he ensures it gets enough sunlight. But years, nothing's happened. The seed just sit there, buried in the ground, and it seems like nothing is going on. Absolutely nothing. But what you didn't see is that invisible growth happening beneath the surface. The bamboo roots were spreading. They were getting stronger. They were building a foundation for an explosive growth. That bamboo tree will eventually reach heights of 90 feet in a matter of weeks. Now tell me, Toastmasters, do you think that bamboo tree just grew in those few weeks? No, it didn't. The real growth happened beneath the surface. And that's exactly how leadership works. Real growth takes time. The biggest successes aren't achieved overnight. They are built during invisibility, during that period when you feel so frustrated, and during that phase when you think that nothing is happening. That's when real growth happens. So what can we learn from the bamboo? What does this mean for us as leaders? As individuals who are striving for success, the bamboo mindset isn't just about endurance. It's about adopting 3 powerful lessons that I believe can shape how we grow, how we lead, and how we succeed. The first lesson of the bamboo mindset that I want to share with you today is patience. In Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about the power of getting just 1% better every day. And 1% doesn't seem like much, right? But over time, that small improvement, it compounds. And by doing that 1% for 1 year, that consistency will eventually lead to big results. And that, my friends, is what patience is all about. Leaders and farmers, they understand that growth happens in phases. They know that results doesn't just show up immediately. They trust the process. They trust that everything they are doing is moving forward. Its growth is happening beneath that surface. And I just want you to ask yourself, are you rushing the results? Are you focusing on the long-term vision? Are you willing to put in that work daily, even when there are no signs, even when you see nothing? Because delayed gratifications lead to a long-term success. And this is where I bring in my second lesson. We all face setbacks. We face failure. We face rejection and tough challenges. But these things are inevitable. Let's look at Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison, but he didn't let that break him. What he did himself, he used the time to learn. He used the time to reflect, and he used the time to build strength. And when Nelson was released from prison, he was stronger than ever before. Nelson didn't just survive. Nelson strived. Resilience isn't just about enduring hardship. It's about using that hardship to fuel transformation. It's about bending and not breaking. It's about adapting without losing your core values. And that is what resilience is about. Over the years, we saw that leaders who embrace resilience, they just don't weather the storm. What they do, they learn from it, they grow from it, and eventually they emerge stronger than ever before. Think about it. What challenges are you facing right now that is testing your resilience? What is it teaching you? Because remember, resilience isn't just about endurance. It's about transformation. Because every setback, it's an opportunity for you to bounce back stronger. And finally, the hardest lesson of all, because I believe this is the hardest lesson, and that is faith in the process. Over the years, I have seen many people give up just before their breakthrough. Success isn't always visible, especially during the early stages. Let's look at the bamboo farmer. He continued to water his bamboo seeds every day, even when there were no signs of growth. But the bamboo was growing slowly and steadily beneath that surface. Now, if we take a look at Wall Street Disney, for example, over 300 years, Disney faced rejection when seeking funding for Disneyland. Rejection after rejection. But he never lost his vision because Disney knew that his hard work would pay off eventually, even if the results weren't immediately. Now look at what Disneyland has become today. Disneyland is a global entertainment empire. Just look at that. Hate in the process isn't about blind optimism. It's about transformation. It's about belief that your consistent efforts will lead to a breakthrough in the future. It's about trusting that what you are doing today is laying the groundwork for something incredible tomorrow. That is what faith is. Now, a few years ago, I had tore my ACL. And I can still remember, boop, that snap, that sudden pain, the way I hit the ground, boom. Yes. And I knew instantly that something was wrong. As a rugby player, that injury was so devastating to me because the sport I loved the most was suddenly out of my life. Can you believe the doctor told me I would take at least 8 months to recover? But by the 5th month, knowing me, I thought I was good. Why wait? So what I did, I rushed back to the field. But just as I was getting into my groove, boom, I was tackled again. And this time, the injury was even worse. I had to extend my recovery for at least 12 months. 12 months, Toastmasters. That was my moment of realizing that waiting isn't a setback. It's a necessary part of growth. I had to go through that long recovery just to understand that real progress often happens out of sight. Building that foundation for something stronger. In today's world, we are so obsessed about this quick results, big wins, fast growth. But true leadership comes from those small, consistent effort. Just think about the bamboo. It doesn't shoot up overnight. What it does, it spends years underground, spreading its root before it rises to greater heights. So as leaders, we must recognize the power of small wins. Celebrate those victories and trust that those small wins, those little victories will lead to big breakthrough in the future. And when we look at leadership through the bamboo mindset, we can see that success doesn't come from avoiding challenges, but from enduring them. Because every great leader, they face obstacles, they face setbacks, and they face moments of doubt. But what separates those who rise from those who fall is their ability to stay rooted in the belief that their efforts, however seen or unseen, are building the foundation for future growth. The journey to success isn't linear. It's messy, it's unpredictable, and sometimes it is very frustrating. But without those challenges, without those invisible work, there is no breakthrough. Think about where you are in your journey right now. Are you in the quiet growth phase? Are you working tirelessly even when the results aren't visible? are you trusting the progress? Because the bamboo, it doesn't rush its growth. It knows that the most powerful leaders, the most resilient teams, the most successful companies, they aren't born overnight. They are nurtured by patience. They are nurtured by resilience and trust in the process. So let me ask you these final questions, Toastmasters and guests. Will you stay on the course? Will you keep going even when the path isn't clear? Will you trust that the work you're doing right now is building something greater than what meets the eye? Today, I just want to challenge each and every one of you that is on this call today. For the next 30 days, track one unseen effort you're making daily. Even if it's invisible to people, you're trying to refine a strategy, you're trying to improve your leadership growth or your leadership journey, because growth happens beneath the surface. But what you need to do, you need to measure it. You need to keep watering your vision. Because I believe if you do these things, one day when you least expected it to, the world will be looking up and they will see how high you have grown. Toastmasters and guests, thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful, amazing presentation, well thought out. The bamboo mindset. You know, for years and years, we may not see any growth, but we are putting in a lot of effort and showing up consistently. And then suddenly one day something clicks, right? And we jump to the next level, like it's like shooting up through the soil like the bamboo. So, ladies and gentlemen, when nothing is happening and you're putting in all the effort, don't give up, as we've heard from Phibian. Keep going, if it is the right direction, of course. Keep going. Keep towards your goals. Keep watering, making sure there's enough sunshine, and be patient. One day, suddenly, you'll bloom, and then like the bamboo, within a few weeks, it grows up to 80 or 90 feet, as we've heard from Phibian, ladies and gentlemen. And even a rooster in the background sometimes helps, right, Phibian? I think the rooster was boosting Phibian's presentation. Thank you very much. That's a rare touch that we get to hear on Zoom when somebody's speaking that they have a pet rooster. So it's pretty refreshing. Thank you. Marie, I hope you have a cat when you're speaking. Our next speaker is Marie Cusin, and you can't see her, but she's somewhere over there. Marie, oh, there she is. And today she's requested that she will be speaking while sitting down. We've noted that because of an injury. And her evaluator, oh, by the way, Marie, you're from Switzerland, right?
Yes,
And what's the temperature in Switzerland?
not good, very cold.
Okay, it says below 2 degrees.
Yes, it is, I think 10 degrees, yes.
Oh, okay. And her evaluator is Arona So, who is in Senegal, I believe, or he travels around, so I don't know where he is today.
Yes, currently I'm in Senegal.
Yeah, in Senegal. Wonderful. And Arona So speaks French and English, so you can hear from her his accent, and so does Marie. So we paired them up well today. Arona, tell us what Marie is going to be doing.
Thank you, Brahm, fellow Toastmaster, dear guests. Today I have the honor to evaluate Marie's speech. Marie will present a second speech, level 1 from the Motivational Strategies Pathway. And the objective of this project is to learn or review basic methods to write a speech, and after that, present a well-organized speech. In addition to the main purpose of this project, Marie need to focus my evaluation on what the audience will learn from her own experience. And during the evaluation part, I will give my report. Back to you, dear Toastmaster over there.
Wonderful. So we will see a burgeoning Marie after your evaluation. Marie, welcome. Slow and serious wins the race. Slow and serious wins the race, Marie Cusin.
Imagine a medical group plunged into chaos after a cyber attack. No more patient records, no phones, no points of reference. A full-on digital tsunami. Dear Toastmaster and guests, that's exactly what happened to our medical group. In just a few moments, our daily routine was turned upside down, revealing much more than just urgent needs. If this happened to you at work, suddenly no more computer, no more phone, what will be your first emotional? Please write in the chat box. When suddenly nothing happened, what is your first emotion? Yes, totally. Yes, panic. For emotion, I would have the word fear. Our first emotion was fear. In the face of adversity, human behavior took center stage, ranging from selfishness and impatience in some teams to true time spirit in others. This crisis has opened our eyes. But how do we burgeon disaster into opportunity? Here's my experience. The tip of impatient doctors, a race to the selfish. From the very first minute of the blackout, one reaction dominated: panic. And with it came a very human reflex, thinking of oneself first. Me first, my software, my access. If only altruism came in pill form. Very quickly, others followed, each demanding VIP treatment. The IT team suddenly found themselves in a surreal scene. Were they fixing computers or managing a butcher's queue on a busy Saturday morning? The second team of ruthless doctors, survival of the fittest. But selfishness was nothing compared to those who, on top of wanting to be served first, had no problem stepping on others to get there. Their strategy: psychological pressure. They would suddenly hover beyond the IT technician, staring at the screen intensely, convinced that their passing gazes could somehow speed up the process. It is going to take much longer. If you do it this way, want to be faster? Are you sure that's the right way? The irony, the same self-proclaimed IT expert could even install a simple update on their own phone. Finally, the team of virtuous doctors, the real winners. And then there was another kind of doctors, the ones who, instead of panicking, took a step back. They observed, learned from others' mistakes, and adopted a smarter approach. Don't tell me what's broken. Tell me what still works. Don't tell me what's broken. Tell me what still works. That is exactly how my medical office responded. Instead of rushing headfirst into chaos, we focus on finding pragmatic, collaborative solutions. The result? A faster recovery, a stronger system, and better performance than before. Because that is the key to a team that thrives, not crumble under pressure, but building on what is still standing. So, what this crisis taught us? In the end, this disaster gave us a valuable lesson. Victory doesn't go to those who yell the loudest or push their way to the front. It belongs to those who take the time to observe, analyze, and make clear-handed decisions. Every crisis holds an opportunity, the chance to strengthen solidarity, learn, and build a more resilient future. So, the next time you're faced with the unexpected, burgeon and remember, slow and serious win the race. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. It is very important in today's world, with all the spams and the scams happening, to protect our data, to protect our privacy, what we share and where we share and how we share, what links we click. You have to be very, very careful. There's so much spam going on, and a lot of people lose a lot of money, not only individuals, but businesses like, as we found out here from Marie, tend to lose a lot of records and so on. So your identity is key. Identity theft and businesses being held at ransom when their systems are locked out by spammers is on the rise. Protect yourself well. Thank you, Marie, for that burgeoning speech, or the burgeoning spam and phishing and all that's going on out there. Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Paramjit Singh, a good friend all the way from Dubai. Now, Paramjit, what's the temperature in Dubai today?
22 at the moment.
22. Oh, okay, that's cool. Well, you're in the northern hemisphere, I suppose, and the sun is down in the south still. And your evaluator, Paramjit Singh, if you can bring in Ajura Okpanachi all the way from Nigeria. Ajura, how are you?
I'm I'm fine, Brahm. Good afternoon, everyone from Nigeria, from very hot Nigeria.
What's the temperature there?
36 degrees centigrade.
Oh,
it's hot and dry.
All right, tell us what Paramjit is doing today.
Thank you, Brahm. Good afternoon, Leadership Speak and our guests. Paramjit will be speaking from the path Presentation Mastery, Level 1 and Project 3. And the path is introducing him to vocal variety and body language. The purpose of the speech is for the speaker to demonstrate vocal variety and exude body language during the delivery of his speech. The speaker has 5 to 7 minutes. Back to you, Brahm.
Thank you, Ajura. Paramjit, I don't know if you're going to make us laugh. That's what you tend to normally do. We'll see. You have an empty bag today, so. Ladies and gentlemen, Paramjit Singh, my empty bag, Paramjit Singh.
This was our last day in India. Our family was moving to our dream destination, Dubai. My flight was early morning, so I just went to the bed a little early and soon went to a deep sleep. I was awakened by a loud noise. "Get up. Your time is over. Let's go." But sir, my flight is tomorrow morning. "No, just follow me. Today's last flight is having only one seat, and you are going alone with me. Your daughters and your wife will come when their time comes." "But sir, my flight is tomorrow." I said, "Just follow me." Reluctantly, I picked the luggage. No baggage allowed. Oh, so please help me. After a lot of pleading, he allowed me only 2 small bags. And he started inspecting them. He opened my first bag and started throwing everything carelessly. Your property deed, no use. Your educational certificates, no use at all. Your bank details, no. Even he threw my passport and visa. Sir, how can I enter Dubai without passport and visa? I know what I'm doing. You just keep quiet. This all junk is nothing of use for you over there. You will be given everything new as per your performance over here. Just let me check your second bag. He opened the second bag and it was totally empty. Oh my God, he is a thief or a travel agent who is going to sell my passport and visa papers for illegal immigrants. And I pretty become angry when he said, "Now you can take your empty bag with you." And I really wanted to hit him and almost push him, but I couldn't even touch him. Now he was absolutely angry with me. "What do you think? I'm a thief?" "I know that is what is going in your head. Paramjit, you are only responsible for this empty bag. When you were given time, you never tried to fill this bag." I got perplexed. I remember I have filled it up to the maximum capacity. But where is the material gone? Seeing my silence, he said, "Now, please give me answers for these questions. Have you ever wiped the tears of distressed people and made them happy? Have you ever helped your friends, family to grow? Have you ever helped the society with your knowledge, with your intellect, with your education?" All of my life's event flashed in front of my eyes, and there were not much answers for his questions. But by now, I have realized that he is talking about a bag full of good deeds and virtues which we carry with us when we go for the final destination. And this flight was not for Dubai, but for my final destination. I requested him for more time, but he didn't show any mercy. He held my hand and threw me towards his way with my empty bag. Soon I heard the voice of my wife. Paramjit, it is 7 o'clock. We have to go to the airport. Get up, get up. Oh, this brought me back to my senses. Oh my God, I was happy to see my family over there. Got so much relieved. Thank God it was a dream. But that day onwards, I started filling my bag. And the more I'm filling, it is an ever-burgeoning bag which requires more and more virtues and deeds over there. My dear friends, I know all of you have filled your bags fully. But if not, don't wait for a dream like this to awaken you. Just start filling your bags with textbooks of empathy, deeds of compassion, certificates of healthy relationships, and visa and passport of love and care. Because we don't know whether our next breath will be there, and we have to go otherwise with the empty bag. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Paramjit. That ultimate journey, right? I have a passport, but that's not the journey you're talking about. And of course, let's make sure we fill the bags with the necessary goods that we need to take with us. And it's not material stuff. Thank you very much for the reminder and a wonderful speech. The link for the guest book is in the chat again. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard a couple of speakers. You know how this meeting is going fluidly. So if you're compelled to, and I wish and hope that you are compelled to sign in the guest book, strong suggestion, please do. I see the guest book. Some people have already signed in the guest book. Leah Musunga, our VP of Membership, will be very happy that you are, so she gets some feedback on our meeting. Our next speaker is going to be the Sergeant at Arms for the club, Baron Ochola. And he's speaking all the way from Uganda, Kampala. And I was in Kampala a few years ago, and I spent about 3 months in Kampala. But I prefer Jinja. Baron, have you been to Jinja?
Yes, I have. That is the source of the Nile.
That is right. It is the source of the Nile, exactly. And when I was a young kid, we lived in Masindi town, which was a very small little place back in those days. Now, your evaluator, Baron, oh, by the way, how hot is it in Kampala today?
It's 30 degrees in Kampala today. 30
I can see you sweating.
I tell you, it's something else.
Make sure you don't have your passport with you. And his evaluator today is going to be Mariam Saidavi. Mariam, hey, how are you, Mariam?
Fine, thank you. What about you?
I'm doing amazing. And you're all the way from Iran?
Yes, I'm the part of the Isfahan.
Isfahan, wow, what a wonderful name. What's the temperature in Isfahan?
Actually, at the moment, 12 degrees.
23.
Yes.
Wonderful. And what is Baron going to be doing today, Mariam?
Actually, regarding for the Baron today, from the path of the dynamic leadership, introduction to the Toastmaster mentoring. The title of the speech, The Law of the Legacy in Action. This objective present a speech about the time when being a protege, share the impact and the importance of having a mentor, avoid the reporting on the content of this project. Time 5 to 7 minutes. All the best for my target speaker. Over to you.
Thank you, Mariam. And Baron, you know, there's a comment in the chat from Rosie saying Baron looking sharp. So I wish I'd put on my tie. All right, Baron, let's see what you have. The law of legacy in action. The law of legacy in action, Baron Ochola.
This question is meant to get our hands up because the fact is I already know the answer. How many of us are avid readers of John Maxwell books? Just put your hands up. Absolutely, I see hands going up like I asked if anybody wanted cake. So many hands, thank you, quite a number. I see Brahm has 2 hands. This means that we all have heard about the law of legacy from the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Have we? Have we heard about that? Once again? Thank you. Now, what this says to me is that a lot of what I'm going to speak to today is not new content for all of you, and that delights me. The law of legacy emphasizes that it is not enough for a leader to only do their work, their regular routines, like we spoke about, management leadership, strategic leadership. It's not enough for them to only do that. They also have to go out of their way to grow their legacy. And how do they grow their legacy? This is by developing other leaders, because it is in a leader's legacy that their results are seen. It is in the succession, in what is left after the leader has gone either from that job or has left this earth, that their legacy is seen. What is the correlation between legacy and mentorship then? Ladies and gentlemen, I would think the answer was right there. They have to develop leaders, so they have to mentor leaders. And this is why mentorship is very important, whether in the Toastmasters environment or in family environments, whatever the dynamic is, mentorship is very important, because for us as leaders, it helps us to grow our legacy. And the reason the 21st law, rather, of the 21 laws is the law of legacy. Wow, that's a mouthful. The reason it is the last one, it is because it's something that leaders must never forget. After all is said and done, they must never forget it. I want to share with you the story of Jonathan, as you see it on the screen right here. The story of Jonathan Edwards and Duke Marks, right? So if anybody has heard of Jonathan Edwards and Duke Marks, then you will relate to this story. Duke Marks on this side was a preacher in the 1700s, yes, in the 1700s. And every evening when he came home from preaching, he would speak to his 11 children. They had conversations, building them, empowering them, growing them. And this is what his leadership looked like after 150 years of him being deceased. He had in his ancestors, there were 65 college professors, 75 military officers, 80 public servants, and on goes the list. We have a US vice president, 3 senators right there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on this other side of it, where do I stand? Right here on this other side, we have Duke Marks. Duke Marks was not intentional about leadership in any way. After 150 years after he had passed, he had 310 of his ancestors who died as paupers. Ancestors, rather, is it the ones who came after him, right? They died as paupers. 150 were criminals. 7 were murderers. 100 plus were drunks, and 190 were prostitutes. This goes to highlight to you that you might not mind your legacy right now, but we don't have to judge you right now. 150 years later, another set of human beings will sit here and have this conversation. And here is just a snapshot to show you that they are actual human beings and not generated by AI. We have Max here and Edwards right here. Why is this story pertinent to me? I first heard this story from my mentor who introduced me to Toastmasters, that is Dr. Christine Navidio, who has attended our meetings time and time again. And when I met her, she told me, if you join the Toastmasters space in 6 months, I promise you, you will not recognize yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 4 years later and I am still here with the same energy of that young man who met her and heard that statement. When she met me and told me these words, I stuck it out. I followed what she said. I joined a Gavo club because I wasn't at the level of joining a Toastmasters club yet. When I joined the Gavo club, this is what happened. I was made president of the club. The conversation went this way. Baron, you are now the president. Go and found the club. That was it. I founded one club, and with that, 2 years later, since we had that conversation, we've had about 7 other Gavo clubs popping up in Uganda. You would say popping up, but if you were in the background, you'd know how they popped up. And all of this being a part of her legacy, with me and a few colleagues around going around and saying, hey, have you heard about this thing called Gavo? Have you heard about Toastmasters? No? All right. Here's what we can tell you. Join this space, and in 6 months, you will not recognize yourself. That is not my legacy. That is the legacy of my mentor. Thousands of other members growing. She might have not had a conversation with them, but they have come up from her legacy. And what does that bring us to as far as legacy and mentorship goes? I'll stand this side. 1, the 4 disciplines to develop your legacy. Number 1, know your legacy. Know the legacy that you want to leave. Do I want to empower leaders? If it's soccer, do I want to bring up a new generation of soccer players? Number 2, leave the legacy you want to leave. That is how you will know who to mentor, and that is how people will see what to pick from you and run with it. Number 3, choose who will carry your legacy. Look around and say, this young man, he looks like he's going somewhere. Let me mentor him. This person, if I deliver my message to them, they will deliver it to 1,000 more speakers, and that will be my legacy. Number 4, make sure you pass on the baton. Leadership is about succession. Leadership is about legacy, and that means we have to pass on the baton. My call to action to all of us today, mind your legacy. Be a legacy in motion. Be a legacy in action. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Baron, for such a wonderful presentation. And why do I call it wonderful is because I'm on the constant lookout for who will be succeeding in this club in the next few years, and how are we building the leaders. And that's why we have this, the education committee that I mentioned before. And in the education committee, there's 15 people. And anyone who I think is a leader or a potential leader that will lead the club into the future, I put them into the education committee, because that's where you get to sit on the hot seat. And in that hot seat, ladies and gentlemen, you begin to really see how the club functions. To be one of the top clubs globally, to have as many education awards as we have, the training that goes behind it. We meet on Tuesdays, we meet on Thursdays to train people to make sure that they are leveling up their skills at all times. And I insist that people up-level their skills to a different level so that they can connect the dots between where they are in Toastmasters to where they will be out in the real world. What is those dots and connecting those dots? So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's see now. We still have one more speaker, and I'm looking forward to seeing Jyothi Thomas speak. Jyothi, are you in Chennai today? All right, let's have our sound.
I am.
And what's the temperature in Chennai?
Well, it's 29, but it feels like 34, and it's almost, what's the time? It's 8:11.
All right, okay.
Wow.
And I'm really looking forward to this volcano you're going to talk about. Her evaluator is going to be Nikhita Winkler. And Nikhita is in Spain, born in Namibia, but living, whereabouts are you in Spain, Nikhita?
Close to Barcelona, so in Catalonia.
All right. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Nikhita was a semi-finalist at the World Champion of Public Speaking a couple of years ago. What are you going to do today, Nikhita?
Well, today I have the honor to evaluate a very passionate and skilled speaker who is always burgeoning, Toastmaster Jyothi Thomas, on her project using descriptive language. And this project, it aims for her to write a speech emphasizing on adding language to increase the interest and the impact. And I'm so excited to evaluate this speech because Toastmaster Jyothi, she crafts every speech of hers like she's stringing together pearls, as she says herself. And so to the audience, here's a warning. Right now, we're not listening with just our ears. We're listening with our whole body.
Thank you. We will certainly listen with our whole body and our whole being. We bring it present to the moment so that we can hear what this volcano is all about. Ladies and gentlemen, Jyothi Thomas, Volcanic Wisdom, Jyothi Thomas.
Have you ever felt this profound shift in how you see the world? A moment when everything just seems to click. A newfound perspective begins. It begins to burgeon. I'm here to talk about this island, a French territory since 1642. Reunion. Most of them who speak French will say it very differently. It's also called the Intense Island, island of great visual beauty. The richness, the diversity of its land and its expanse is something you need to see. I'm here to talk about the volcanic wisdom of this island in the Indian Ocean. In the Indian Ocean, you will see this teeny-weeny mustard-sized island called as the Reunion Island. The volcanic island, the live volcanic island. Why talk about it today? It sounds wrong. That's exactly how I felt when I was there. Reunion Island was something that was gifted to me. I never went there. Everywhere, the West was fine, but here I said, not me. Till after almost 20 years of my sister living there, I decided to venture. It's not a phrase. It's a visceral feeling. Profound shift, where I saw the world with a different eye. How can I even describe? It's like a painting, a picture. The volcanic peak, scars, and its majestic look. It's like touching the clouds. The turquoise water, the ocean, felt endless. It was shimmering. I felt it was embracing. It's emotional for me. When the water meets the black soil, rugged coastline. And this is what I brought back with me. The piece of the volcanic rock. The rock which I would hold to give me that energy. The energy that can still the mind. Why am I connecting stillness? Because stillness of that island, that's where I found tranquility. We can talk about being virgin, like all this happening, but where does it stem from? It's in the silence. In the silence, we find a canvas to paint, the perception of each eye. There's a fog. When I went after the eruption, I looked at it with my mouth open. I wasn't sure if the land was going to open up for me to go down. The people there were calm. There was one resident, an elderly man, who said, as long as you stay away from nature's path, nature will never touch you. When nature touches you, remember, we have turned and tossed the place around. Those were words of wisdom. Volcanic wisdom taught me to clear the fog in my head. How many of you have felt there are times when something happens and you have to stay quiet? Or maybe your phone has blacked out, you've lost, and you realize for 2 days you're not going to fix it. We get all hassled. And slowly after 2 days, we think, this is good. I don't need that sound. That's precisely what happened when I was there in that island. Bruce Lee, the wonderful actor, says, still your mind. That's what the island brought to me. The ocean's rhythm, the wind's song, rustling of the leaves, trickling of the water as you walk down the quaint lanes. What is it about people in the mountains and in the island? Live and let live. Life, my fellow Toastmasters, you need to reboot. Reboot in order to be sane. We say leaders are alone on the top. Well, these are for leaders who need to reboot. Moments of silence gives tranquility. It tells you what to do next. Reboot. As I talk to you, there are many things in life that we demand. We have the moment that we do not want to reset. Have you wondered how hard it is to face the moment, the golden moment of silence? While I stand in front of you with this volcanic island, a piece of it in my hand, I shake with tears being held back when my sister called me last morning to say, red alert. It's 50 years now and they had the worst cyclone ever. What was it that made me think of the island a couple of weeks ago when I wanted to deliver this speech? I connected with Nikhita because she was the child of the mountains. Little did I realize what I was bringing down. I didn't know she was going to evaluate me. Connection does happen. I stand here seeking all of you. Adapt, find the strength. While the island is being rocked, thrown apart, yet the volcanic whisper, the wisdom is resilience. I ask all of you, even in violent situations, the storms around you, get still. Seek the peace. Remember, when your mind is still, it anchors you. In quiet strength, let's navigate. Won't you, fellow Toastmasters? Volcanic wisdom. Over to the Toastmasters.
Profound presentation. Who would I be without nature? For I am nature myself. I love walking in the woods in the quiet by myself, and I get connected with something infinite. And for those of you who are in Kenya, as you all know, I was born in Kenya, and I've been up Menengai crater, which is in Nakuru. Anyone been to Menengai crater? And we used to pick up these volcanic rocks, bring it home, and we would put them in water and they would float because of course they were very porous. I don't know if you've tried that, Jyothi. Wonderful presentation. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, our speakers have spoken. And so now I ask the guests. There's going to be a guest book link posted again. Please sign in the guest book. You've heard all the speakers. You know how we perform. You know how we grow our leaders in Leadership Speak. We are totally committed to growing leaders here. We are building legacy. We're not just looking at what the next week's agenda is going to be like, and that's all. We're actually building a legacy of leaders that will take care of this club. I don't know about the 150 years, Baron, but for a long time. Thank you. So please sign in the guest book. There is going to be a link again in the guest book. I would ask the timer to post in all the timings in the chat. I can see some of the times have been already posted. Post the time for the toast for the toast. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm looking for my notes here. The toast was done by Antonio Hernandez. So there you go. If you can post the time as well and all the other speakers and so on. And Mr. Zoom Master, please launch the poll for the most effective speaker for the day. So while the poll is being launched, let me introduce to you Gilda Shlah, our general evaluator who's been watching with a hawk eye, like an eagle, maybe like a rooster, I don't know, as to what we have been doing today. And currently she is in Houston, but she was in Calgary just a couple of weeks ago. About 10 days ago, she was in Calgary, freezing at -30, and now she's at probably +30. How is it in Houston, Gilda?
Houston is wonderful, especially today. We have sunny morning. We don't get that as often as we like in Calgary. It's always sunny.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, Gilda has been a Toastmaster with Leadership Speak for just a few months. She joined recently, and she's an experienced Toastmaster. Over to you, Gilda.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, distinguished Toastmaster Brahm, for the introduction. Nurturing growth is our theme for the day, and I'm honored and privileged today to be the general evaluator for this wonderful meeting. After listening to all these amazing, inspiring speeches, I was just watching and listening 100% because I didn't want to miss a word from whatever was said. Wonderful, amazing speeches. Thank you, speakers. As a general evaluator, I will call evaluators for each one of these prepared speeches to evaluate. Our first evaluator will evaluate the toast. The Toastmaster will introduce the toast. And that will be none other than your general evaluator, Gilda Shlah. So I will be evaluating the toast of Toastmaster Antonia Hernandez. There I go. Timer. Antonia, thank you for giving us the core of leadership. You told us trust in leadership, trust in ourselves, and growth are the core or the essence of the leadership. And this is how we nourish our leadership slowly but surely. I like how you were smiling during the toast. By the way, I've known Antonia for a long time, and I don't see her smile as often, but today She had a beautiful, trusting, energized smile on her face, proposing the toast. Thank you, Antonia. The toast for the day, you said, toast to growth, leadership, and trust. Thank you. And you asked everybody to unmute, repeat, and toast with you. Thank you. I would suggest just one thing to bring your toast to a higher ground. While you were toasting, you looked around, you were not sure, you looked down. That was facial expression or eye contact. When we are proposing the toast, we look in everybody's eye with a smile, keep the smile, and toast. Say your final toast, then toast. Thank you. Other than that, in summary, wonderful toast, truly connected to the theme of the day. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day. Oh, back to you, General Evaluator. Back to me. Thank you, Gilda. You did very good. You'll hear feedback later on, since I am the General Evaluator. Now, prepared speeches. Our first speech was the educational speech by
Gilda, don't forget Sandra Balch on the agenda.
Sorry, what? Sorry, I did not hear you.
The next is Sandra on the agenda to evaluate the Toastmaster of the day.
Yeah, you don't want to miss
Yes.
that part.
Oh, I don't want to miss that. Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking in too many pages. That's why. Okay, the next evaluator is Toastmaster Sandra Ball. She will be evaluating our Toastmaster of the day. Looking forward to hear what Sandra is saying to distinguished Toastmaster Brahm. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Who else would bet? I didn't volunteer to evaluate Brahm. How many would put their hand up for that? Eh? So, Brahm, I expect you, as usual, to have some broad shoulders because that's what I do. You really did a great job stepping in when Irish video got frozen up. Just a lovely, smooth modeling of how we step in when we see things are gone astray. I'm going to be mixing the what ifs and the good stuff all the way through, but you came on and you started immediately with training. I know you love being the master coach, and I know you love training, and you do Tuesdays and Thursdays and constant behind the scene. But when I come to the meeting, I don't want to have more training in there, and that's, you just can't help yourself. But what I would look for is the professional modeling that you show people how to take and claim the position. And with that modeling, it's so important because we look to you for that leadership. Now you got into the theme of the meeting and went back again to more training. It was like, okay, the guests are important and we're going to educate the guest, but we as members also want to experience the professional meeting that we look for. Locations might be nice to just put in with our names, and rather than having that casual chat with each person, perhaps have that in your introduction. So Nikhita is coming here from, and it's clear and crisp. You had a lot of chatter all the way through, and as a modeling, we would forget how to do that introduction that actually builds up the speaker. That's what I would be afraid of. So we really do look to you for the modeling. I found that you were reviewing the speeches in between. One sentence would be enough. You just need that little bridge, not to go into too much there. a lot of conversation about yourself. Oh, I was in Kampala and I stayed there for 3 months, lovely town and this and that. So I would, that's the caution. We need that. If we all model today's style, we would lose the value that we get from learning how to know what the evaluator is going to look for, but then to build up the speaker and really have us as an audience knowing what we're going to be listening for and having that passion of a professional introduction, which really needs to be worked out between the Toastmaster of the day and the speaker. Introductions are a skill that people need to really work on. But as always, you love the leadership role and you love the stage and your passion shows, and I am sure you are well on your way to making that 150-year legacy. Congratulations, Brahm. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra, for such a wonderful all-round evaluation. I would like to add, I love the way you motivate us and inspire us, Brahm. Wonderful work and job.
Thank you.
Now, the rest of the feedback, and the feedback is one of the core essence in our meetings at Leadership Speak, because this is how we get nurtured. That's how we learn our leadership. This is where we practice our critical thinking. So let's do it. Our first evaluator for the first speaker for the educational speaker is Daniel Amandi Odero. He will evaluate Phibian Joseph, the presenter of the educational speech. The stage is yours, Daniel.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, and thank you, Phoebe and Joseph, for that very valuable speech and lessons we learned. Truly inspirational. You began off well and you excelled at connecting with the audience with your first question opening. How many of you have, and this connects with the audience, so you are not just speaking, you're not just telling us, but you are speaking to us, getting us to think also about the lessons we've learned. You use the story of the bamboo very well, intertwining it with lessons learned, times that we can then consider these things that you asked the questions, and this brought out well. You also then added the stories, the three stories there, one of Elon Musk, one of Walt Disney, and then your own personal story, which came after the lessons that you taught. You taught there's 3 lessons there. Patience. You talked about facing resilience and faith in the room. Great one that you talked about the lessons there. And then you showed how you yourself came up with those, how it mattered to you and how we can learn from it as well. That was done brilliantly. One thing that you can consider as you're doing your speech, I mean, your Zoom presence was great, but consider this. When you ask the questions, also give a pause, so that when you ask the question, we sit back and we actually think about it, because you had the time to actually get us to ponder on it. Very good questions. Let us ponder. I saw a chat there, someone saying, this is for me, because we all go through that. And you brought it out well. You then also had a call to action. The next 30 days, let us do this. Yeah, so the call to action was great. And then a little bit of a snippet of how it looked like when you do that. Your timing, you had 18 to 22 minutes, you used about 70 minutes, so you had about 5 minutes more. What could you have done in that extra time? I think at the summary, you could have gone back, summarized the lesson. These are the lessons we learned. The patience, restate them so that it comes clear in our minds what the lessons were as you close off, because then that gives you that, and you had the time for it. And then the pauses will actually help us to consider. You did it very well, but let's consider it. Give us the pause there. But all in all, a great educational lesson that we learned there. Great intertwining of the lessons of the bamboo with actual stories and then your personal story. And finally, great call to action. And when we do, what does it look like? Thank you for this presentation. I learned a lot from it, and I look forward to joining as a speaker as you have. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Dan, for this evaluation. If I may add to Phibian or to the evaluation, I know we get excited when we are really thinking of an important subject. We believe in something and we speak about it. We close our eyes. Eye contact, it's very important. I noticed that maybe you did the same thing, Dan, is Phibian was closing his eyes too many times. A better eye contact will help a lot. Thank you. Our second evaluator for our second speaker is Aruna Shah, and he will be evaluating Maria Cusin's speech. The stage is yours, Aruna Shah.
Thank you, dear General Evaluator. Victory belongs to those who take time, observe, analyze, and made better solution. Thank you, Marie, for reminding us the importance for being solution-oriented, even if time get stuff. I really love the fact that the content of your speech was connected to its title. Slow and serious win the race. And I really love the fact that we started our speech by an emergency situation and show up from the beginning to the end the fact that of being solution oriented can help us to handle any crisis situation. And we ended your speech by a call to action. So congratulations for that. You have reached the objective of your speech. Your message was clear, and also the end gesture was there. And I really love the fact that the way that we use the tone and the volume of your voice, especially when you were talking about emotion. In terms of improvement, just two things. Your speech will be better when we will try to avoid making hesitation, and also when you will try to make pauses during your speech delivering. Overall, it was a great speech. Congratulations again, and back to you, dear General Evaluator.
Thank you, Aruna, for this wonderful evaluation. And if I could add one thing, thank you, Maria, for this informative yet inspiring or persuasive speech. You told us to stand still at a panic time, instead of panic, at a serious or chaos time. Thank you for this speech. Our second evaluator for the prepared speeches is Rajura Okpanashi, and she will be evaluating Toastmaster Paramjit Singh speech. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. It was my pleasure to evaluate Toastmaster Paramjit, who was to practice. The purpose of his speech was to practice vocal variety and body language. And I'll have to say, Toastmaster Paramjit, that you did exactly that. You fulfilled the objectives of your speech. And I'll tell you why. First of all, your speech was entertaining and inspiring, and I want to thank you for that. You told a wonderful, compelling story, and then there was a message in that story, which was about filling our bags. With regards to your vocal variety and your body language, from the very beginning of your speech, I could see your hands, I could see your gestures. You used your hands quite often in the speech, and you were able to demonstrate what you were doing. And what that did for us was you were able to create vivid pictures, particularly when you were talking about, when you're telling the story and talking about who I assume was a customs officer and yourself. You used vocal varieties. You used a certain pitch and a certain tone for the person who came across as a very stern person, and then you used a different pitch and tone for yourself, who seemed to be someone that was trying to appease this other stern person. So there were two distinctive personalities in that story, and what that was able to do was create a really good story and a vivid picture of what was going on. You used your voice really well. Like I said, very distinct voices for both personalities. Another thing I really liked you did well was how you used your voice to express your passion, particularly in the section of the speech where you were asking rhetorical questions. For example, you asked, how have you ever helped your society with your knowledge and your information? You used passion. There were times your voice volume went down because you were using your there was this quiet passion that you were trying to convey to the audience. The nice twist at the end when you told us that it was a dream made the story very compelling, and there was a bit of humor in there too. I liked that. And then at the end, I loved how you came towards the screen to address the audience, to talk to us about filling our bags. Something that stood out for me was the fact that you used really good metaphors for how to fill our bags. You talked about certificates of compassion and love. I love the metaphors you used. My only recommendation is the fact that you did not, I noticed that you weren't looking directly at the camera. So your eye contact you weren't really looking at us. I didn't see you looking at us. You were looking at another screen perhaps, but you weren't looking directly into the camera. So I would suggest you do that for next time. All in all, like I said, you fulfilled your speech objectives, great vocal variety and body gestures. Thank you so much. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
You for the great evaluation, just perfect evaluation. You went through it and then you gave a summary. Wonderful. Evaluator number 3 is Toastmaster Miriam Sidawi. She will evaluate Toastmaster Baron Ochola speech. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Fellow Toastmaster and the welcome guest. It's my privilege to the Evaluator Toastmaster Baron with the title The Law of the Legacy in the Action. I want to commend the speaker for the dedication and the prepare and the delivery speech very well. But I want to evaluation his speak in the 3 part. The first part, commitment, accommodation, and the conclusion. Regarding for the first, just I want to highlight the strong of his speech. Opening is the grabbing the action from the beginning when he with the strong opening. He asking question about the mention the book of the law of the legacy. Immediately he connect with the audience. Well done. The second thing is the content and the organization. Well organization, each point smoothly to the next point. The third, engagement and the ability to engage with the audience, and the delivery, he using the vocal variety and the body language and the gesture and the eye contact. Just a few recommendations because While the speech was excellent, I will believe the few area could be improved. First, regarding for the camera, actually when he is starting in the camera, just we see under here, under the shoulder, actually the hand and the gesture not that much they showing in the camera. The second things, from the when he mentioned about the personal story about his mentor, I prefer he mentioned about which area mentor he will be help you and uplifting him, and they make the energy after 4 years more energy up to now. This I will be appreciate if he mentioned about the one point and how he's the mentor he's help you. In the conclusion, you did the outstanding job in the delivery, your speech, your communicate, your message clearly and effectively. Your passion for the subjects matter. With the just few points of the recommendation, I am confident your speech will become the more effective. Keep the great work. I look forward to see you more with the more passion and the more energy in the for the next speech. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Miriam, for this evaluation. You covered everything in Baron's speech. Our next evaluator is Nikhita Winkler. She will be evaluating Toastmaster Jyothi Thomas' speech. Stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyothi. You are a volcano. You are bursting with so much wisdom in every speech that I hear of yours. So using descriptive language, it's no challenge to you. You do so skillfully. In all your speeches, including this one, you are poetic and you have this rhythm in the way that you use the figurative language to share the majestic island, Reunion Island, with us. However, we are here to burgeon, and my role is to help you burgeon by first, I have to understand your communication style. And I did that by going through your previous speeches that you've done this year. So by doing that, I was able to see where the gap is and how I can find that gap in your speeches and help you get to the next level. So here is what I have observed. The gap is in the stillness of your core message. The stillness of your core message. What do I mean by that? You have so many golden nuggets in all your speeches. I am challenging you today to seek how you can focus an entire speech on one core message, to keep that at the center of the entire journey that you are taking us on. How can you, since you understand stillness, how can you turn that slight shift of my body that you just saw, of my movement, into an entire speech? I think that is it's a very formidable challenge. So I'm talking about, for those who might not understand, the difference in your speech content between this, where it's still beautiful and impactful, and this, minimalistic, ping, space, stillness. So less is more. And stillness requires us to reduce the noise. You are so good at doing that. So good at doing that, Toastmaster Jyothi. But I challenge you today to go deeper into that process. So if I have to describe your speaking style, something that you excel at is that you embody volcanic wisdom. Nature is you, and you are nature. And when that volcanic rests, that is when we can go closer. When the volcanic rests, it allows us to go closer and to experience it. And this is what I challenge you today. Thank you so much. Back to you, Evaluator.
Thank you, Nikhita, for this evaluation. Evaluation is a speech itself with an opening body and a message to all. And you did that in your evaluation. Thank you. Timer, whenever you're ready, you could post the time of all the speakers in the chat box. And now okay. And are we gonna do the survey? We're gonna pick the speaker of the day or of this meeting, the best speaker now?
You want to launch the poll? If you want to launch the poll, just call for it and you'll be launched.
Can we launch the poll for best effort speaker, please? We have the evaluator. Yes. Thank you. I believe it's posted and launched and collected. And now let's go. Our next segment is to go back to our president, who will be a trainer for today. And he will train us in critical thinking evaluation. The stage is all yours, distinguished Toastmaster Brahm.
Thank you. The reason why I'm here is to make, as the founder of the club, I know the vision well. We do a lot of training on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yes, I'm a trainer. I'm a coach. And that is why we thrive here, the way we train and coach people. Now, here's the thing. Times have really changed, and we really need to understand how we present ourselves on Zoom. The Zoom world has changed completely. And here's the thing. If you look at district number 60, where district 86 came out of, I'm in district 86. I was in district 60 before, then it got split into district 86. Then what happened is they took a few clubs from district 86 and district 60 and made district 123. So we are next to each other. Actually, I can drive a few miles around and I can be in the other districts as well. And as you all know, ladies and gentlemen, we are losing a lot of clubs in all these districts. Currently in the 3 districts which are close to me, and including district 86, we have on the dashboard 44 clubs are gone. By the end of the year, and as September rolls by next year, we'll have lost more than 60-70 clubs in total, and maybe more. So here's the reason. What does it say is that how we are leading and how we are doing our meetings and how we are inspiring and coaching each other is very different, in a very different world. And so we are committed in Leadership Speak to make sure that we coach and train our members to the next level, how they think, especially critical thinking, and as an advanced club, what they need to bring to the table. It is very different. It's a very different world. If we keep leading the way we led before the pandemic, we'll be one of those statistics of disappearing clubs. And I'm committed that we'll build legacy and growth. And so our training is different. And what we do, as you saw today in the meeting, is different. What I'd like to ask the evaluators and the speakers today is to focus on what did they really intend to do at the end? What was the call to action? And if you look at level 1 in any pathway, writing a speech, it tells you there are 4 key things that you can do in a speech. And what are those 4 key things? One is to inspire, inform or instruct. I do all the information and instruction. That's my kind of speaking. Either it's to persuade or entertain or influence and so on, right? And motivate, actually. So those are the key things that we do. And so the evaluator should know, what is the speaker doing at the moment? And did they really inspire, instruct? What did they do? And so this is our constant training, to think critically when we are putting a speech together, and to think critically as an evaluator. We do constant training, and the next training for evaluations and speakers is coming up sometime in April. We haven't set the date. With that, Madam GE, it is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Brahm, for this information. We need to keep that in mind as evaluator. Well, this, I believe this takes me to the
Gelda, I have a note here from one of our members here that the grammarian report was missed out. Did you miss out the grammarian report? So if you did, please, if you can, thank you.
Yes, I did. Absolutely. I was going to come back to it now, and thank you for the reminder. And now to important report, our grammarian report. And our grammarian is Shanisha. Shanisha, the stage is all yours to give us your report. Thank you for waiting.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. My report will take the format of reporting on the word of the day usage, some infractions I've noted, and some areas or quotes I would have noted. I am pleased with how the word of the day was used throughout our meeting. Leading in front is Brahm. I've recorded him using the word of the day at least 4 times, and he reminded us one of those times that Leadership Speak is a burgeoning club. Dan used the word twice. He said that he looked forward to burgeoning as a speaker, as Toastmaster Phibian has. I've noted Marie asking us, how do you burgeon from disaster into opportunity? Paramjit encouraging us to full and ever burgeoning bag. Nikhita also used the word twice, and she said we are here to burgeon, as well as Jyothi used the word twice. I must commend those speakers for their ability to incorporate the word of the day into their speech and for doing it multiple times. For the infraction segment of my report, Antonia, I noticed during your speech, you had 2 moments where you were stumbling and you managed to correct yourself. You said to think, and then you corrected yourself to make me think, and then you said to leave, and then you switched to be. Brahm, you had a few pause fillers and crutches throughout your time at the virtual lectern. You had a few so's, ahs, and inappropriate ands. Toastmaster Phibian, your Guyanese Creole was creeping out. You said you're working instead of you are working. I also noted you said Telsa thrice instead of Tesla. You said I had tore my ACL. I believe it should have been torn. You had 1 inappropriate so and a few inappropriate just that added no value to your speech. Paramjit, you said total instead of totally, and you had 1 repetitive phrase when you said no use at all. And I believe that was used to add emphasis to your presentation. Baron, you had one tongue twister, and I admired your ability to bounce back while incorporating a bit of humor into that moment when you said, wow, what a mouthful, and then you carried on. I believe that was well done. Gilda, you have 2 inappropriate pauses, and your favorite pause filler is ah. I've noted about 6. And for Ijuro, you had 2 repetitive phrases. You said 4. Aruna, you said end instead of hand. Nikhita, you had 2 so's, 1 ah. And I swiftly moved to the part where I noticed some wonderful golden nuggets. I'll only share 2. Toastmaster Phibian encouraged us or reminded us that real growth happens beneath the surface and takes time. And Baron encouraged us to be a legacy in motion and be a legacy in action. I now return control to our general evaluator.
Thank you for this wonderful grammarian report, Shanisha. Today's theme, there are so many takeaways from it. I believe each one of us is going back to doing whatever we are doing with so many takeaway that will nourish our leadership. For me, I have 3 of them. Believe in yourself. I keep reminding myself and remind everybody, believe in yourself. And the power in stillness. That was something I'm going to take for the rest of my life and practice it. And growth happens underneath the surface. Thank you, speakers. Thank you, evaluators. Thank you, club, for giving me this opportunity to be the general evaluator for today's meeting, nurturing growth. And now I give it back to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Brahm.
You know, Gilda, I almost forgot that I was the Toastmaster of the day. And the reason being that I simply took this role as a Toastmaster of the day at the last meeting when our previous Toastmaster of the day was unable to be here. Sometimes it happens. Members are called away to do other things and so on. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Since I'm the Toastmaster of the day, yes, then I have to do a couple of other things. And one of them is, of course, we always have a thought of the day that encapsulates and burgeons the whole meeting into a thought. And to do that is my very good friend. Can you spotlight Gerda Felix here for us? And Gerda is from London, not London, England, London, Ontario, which is 100 miles from where I am. What's the temperature there, Gerda?
Well, I'm not sure of the temperature, but I know that it is doing something. The weather is doing something that I don't necessarily like. I think I see snow.
As far as you're inside and warm, right, Gerda?
Yes, exactly.
And the other thing I would like to say about Gerda is that when we were in my Speak Toastmasters Club, we only had 2 members, and she came on board and helped me create the world's biggest club and the top club in my Speak. And now she's in Leadership Speak. Over to you, Gerda. Thought of the day.
Thank you, Brahm. Nurturing growth, the mark of true leadership. This is the essence of legacy. Nurturing growth goes beyond managing tasks or making decisions. It is about fostering an environment where individuals can burgeon, thrive, innovate, and, like the bamboo tree, reach their full potential. Like the bamboo farmer, a great leader invests time and effort being consistent in the growth of their team. Also in offering guidance, support, and constructive feedback, all while encouraging autonomy and growth. The true sign of leadership is not achieving success, but in empowering others to succeed and lead themselves. By nurturing growth, leaders create a lasting impact that extends far beyond their own achievements, leaving a legacy of capable, confident individuals ready to take on future challenges. Leadership is about lifting others up and making them better, ensuring the team's growth becomes the organization's growth. Nurturing growth, the mark of true leadership. In summary, is how people experience themselves under your tutelage. In other words, because they've been led by you. The question for you as a leader, are you like the bamboo farmer? Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Whoa, thank you for summarizing the whole meeting today and giving your own thoughts on the theme of the day. For the guests, if you've noticed, that the theme of the day was created by the education speaker. I spoke to it in the beginning a little bit, but the education spoke to it quite a bit. The grammarian had the word of the day that was consistent with the theme. We had thought of the day that was consistent with the theme. The toast that was raised was consistent with the theme. So you saw the growth in all those presentations. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had value in how to grow as a leader, how to nurture other people as a leader. Thank you to Brahm for doing that wonderful speech about mentorship and legacy and looking forward 150 years into the future. That is profound. If you will please launch the awards. Who's launching the awards today, Brahm or Mr. Zoom Master?
Brahm is launching the awards.
All right, let's have a look at the awards, ladies and gentlemen. They're right there on your screen. And the effective speaker was Phibian Joseph. And the effective evaluator was, let's have a look at the screen. It'll change in a second. There we go. It's coming up. Nikhita Winkler. Congratulations to Nikhita and Phibian. I would like to add that when I was looking and reviewing the votes for the speakers and having looked at Brahm's presentation, which was so consistent with the theme, he's a burgeoning leader currently in Leadership Speak. He really does what he says he would do and is always there to help. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to also award Brahm as an effective speaker today because you did a great job. So congratulations, Phibian and Brahm. I would like to now speak to the guests. And I'm looking at the guest book today, and we have quite a number of guests that signed in. As for the benefit of the members here, every club meeting is an open house. Every club meeting has to be of an excellent quality, especially as an advanced club. We have to exemplify an advanced level of presentation, which we do at our meetings. And because of that, and because of what we do here, a lot of guests do sign up. And I see that a number of guests have signed up. For example, we have Holm Stang, who came in very early, is in Singapore. And it's like, 1141 in Singapore. I don't know if he's still here, but he had a few questions. There you go, Holmes Tang. How are you? You can unmute yourself, Holmes. Looks like technical difficulties.
Hey,
Oh, there you
hi,
go.
hi, hello.
Hi there. So I can see that you've signed the guest book and you indicated an interest in joining Leadership Speak. Now, you had a couple of questions. Go ahead and ask them right now. I can answer perhaps a couple of them.
Hey, sure. Thank you so much, Brahm.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned quite a number of times earlier about your training sessions, especially the Tuesdays and Thursdays. It got me quite
Yes.
interested. What might those entail? And what sort of timings are you looking at when you offer these trainings, or other people might be doing these trainings for Leadership Speaks?
So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we meet at 11 o'clock my time. Since we are 13 hours away, it's midnight for your time, unfortunately. But we do, and what the training is, how to become an amazing speaker, a professional speaker, a world champion of public speaking. Whatever you need that you want, you tell us your goal and we'll train you accordingly. We also train on how to become a highly effective leader, and that would help you in the real world to be effective as a leader and as a speaker. In an advanced club, what we are really looking for is not to enhance your basic skills, which you've already done at the community club. At this club, which is all about leadership development, our focus is on how can we get you prepared for the real world so that your next stop, if you're doing something in Leadership Speak, you can do the same thing in the real world and succeed. So that is the hot seat. Yeah, you're always on the hot seat. But I also, from time to time, take a bunch of members and I say, who wants to be a world champion of public speaking and a highly effective leader? Put up your hand. We'll create a different group for you, and I'll personally train you to go to that next level. So that's what we do. It's only for members on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you've sort of signed up to become a member, I'll get in touch with you. I can see you've said to contact you. I've got your WhatsApp number. I'll contact you, Holmes, and then we'll take it from there. We'll have a Zoom call and see if you want to be a member.
Sure, I'll follow up with you. Thank you so much.
Superb. Look forward to it. Now, the next member that I would like to speak to, if they're still here, is Manjula or Patricia Nalubale. Either one of them here. Manjula, how are you doing?
Yeah, hi, I am good, thank you.
And you're all the way from Glasgow, right?
Yes, I am from Glasgow.
I remember that, you had indicated you wanted to be a member quite a while back, and I think somebody did contact you. Maybe I did contact you. But you said again today that you want to be a member. So what's your interest? Are you really looking to be a member? Any questions?
No, nothing. I want to join the membership and I want to continue this Toastmaster leadership program.
Oh, wonderful. What club are you a member of in Glasgow?
No, I am not. I am just joining Zoom only. It is not
Oh, I see.
comfortable to offline, so I interested in Zoom only.
So you're not a member of any club at the moment?
Yeah, no.
In that case, you can't become a member of a Leadership Speak because we are an advanced club. You have to have at least 3 levels done in a community club before you can join us. So the best bet for you would be to join another club that is on Zoom and do the 3 levels of a pathway. They'll explain to you what it is, and then you can come and join us. All right? Because we
Okay,
don't
please
teach the
explain me.
basics. Sorry?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank
Is Nadika Pereira here? Okay. Looks like Nadika isn't here. Let's have a look at the other guests that we have. If there's any more guests left here. Regina Nantege, are you there, Regina? Put on your video so we can see you and spotlight you. And then we have Maura is here, and I think she's on holiday in Ireland, but she's from Italy originally. Hi, Maura.
Hello, hello, hello.
You look a bit different today, Maura.
Oh yes, I have the magic the magic Mora when she's happy.
Good, good. Yeah. How's your
The
vacation?
normal Mora.
How's your vacation in Ireland? You're in Ireland, right?
Yes, actually, it's very funny because it is storming. Today is cloudy, but it changed completely the temperature, the seasons. But in general, it's beautiful place to visit. Yeah.
Oh, good, good. And thank you for coming for the third time. You can visit us, of course, as a guest as many times as you like. But I hope I will be meeting you around March the 7th or around that date. And I look forward to that. And then see if we can get you on board as a member. Thank you, Maura, for being here again. Much appreciated.
Yes, and have a nice weekend.
You too. Have a dormant coffee.
Oh yes, I will have it today in the evening. My kitten wants to say hello. Kitten? I have an adolescent kitten to say hello. So yes, I will go today for the coffees. I give you my feedback.
Thank you very much, Maura.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Take care. We'll speak soon. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are done with that. My measure of success always is, as a Toastmaster of the day, is how many guests actually signed into the guest book. And I see that almost 8 or 9 members signed into the guest book today. So we were very successful. Irene, thank you for being a teammate with me in posting the link. And we got 9 people to sign in. They don't have to become a member, but if they sign in and they give us feedback, we know that they're engaged. And that's really the icing on the cake, is the engagement of the guests. So thank you all, and Holmes will get in touch with you. Ladies and gentlemen, so this meeting now I'm going to call to an end. And nurturing growth is key. It is the mark of true leadership, and we want to create leaders here, both in speaking and in how they are as leaders in the real world and how they lead people. What does it mean to be a leader? That's what we do. This club is all about leadership development. Now, all that training doesn't take place in a meeting. A meeting is more managerial in nature. We are just following an agenda, calling up people, and so on, and they do the roles. Leadership is learned in between the meetings, in how we interact with each other, how we collaborate, how we train ourselves, and the goals we set, and all those sort of things. That's where leadership really is. It is like an iceberg. You don't see it in a meeting. 9/10 of it is below the surface. I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you all. You may stop the recording.